Welcome to Conversations for Self. My name is Simona, and here is where I share my healing journey. If you like the content and you enjoy the information that I'm providing here, I ask that you hit the subscribe button so that you can continue to receive my content as I upload it. And today I want to share my experience with judgment. So, the first thing that I want to use as an example is some flashcards. So we have the numbers here. We have a number here. So depending on the perspective, it may be one number and it may be a different number. So which one? Which one is it? And again, it just depends on how you look at it. And we've all had experience with the number 9 or 6 or 9 or 6 or 9. No matter how you look at it, it just depends on the perspective. Along my healing journey, I kept hearing the message of releasing judgment. And releasing judgment is a two-way street. It is a two-way street. So there is definitely the judgment that everyone, there are more conversations going on about judging others, people judging me, how people talk about other people. Then of course there is the judgment of self, the self-talk, what we think about ourselves, how we appear to ourselves, and it's all in judging. It's definitely it's not from necessarily a malicious place, but it's definitely not from the best place in our thought pattern. So again, going back to releasing judgment, and just as I have given the example for the numbers, the numbers are there. They are there. It's correct. The number is correct. The way you view it is correct. I mean, it changes depending on perspective and how you look at it. And that's really how judgment works. It is purely we're looking at someone through our perspective. And when we're looking at ourselves through other people's perspective, because we're usually doing that from a place of things that have been said to us, things that have been told to us, the way that we should behave, the way that we should act, the way that we should, be as people and as human beings. So one thing that I did have to, for myself, I had to release judgment for myself. And again, I use myself as an example because, again, I'm giving you information based on what I have personally been through and what I have personally, succeeded in overcoming, and what I have personally completed in my healing journey, and just being happy and content and being alone being okay being alone. So again, releasing judgment, release judgment of self. we have goals. We have an idea of what we think we should look like, what type of job we believe that we should have, what type of home, what type of family, what type of life. We all have this idea of what we would like and what we want. And when we fall short of that, we tend not to uh, give ourselves the leeway, of being, just human, and we're imperfect in our human form, and it's not necessarily a constructive, judgment and a constructive criticism. It comes from, again, it's a learned behavior to down and berate ourselves and look at ourselves lower than or less than by not having this appearance, by not having, these material items. So there is the releasing of judgment for self. Releasing of judgment for self is, very important, because your happiness comes from you. Like, your happiness definitely, totally comes from within. And again, conversations for self. The judgment, again, this is a conversation that we are having within ourselves. These are conversations we're having with ourselves. Like, oh, I was so, we'll say to ourselves, oh, I was so stupid, or that was a dumb move that I made, or how could I let myself do this, or how could I allow myself to be this way? How could I allow myself to not be this better version that I and the world say that I should be? And that, again, that doesn't feel good. It does not feed into happiness. It does not feed into contentment. It doesn't feed into anything that's going to be productive, or anything that is going to be, beneficial. So there is definitely the releasing of judgment of self, and just really understanding that life does happen. We can control ourselves. We absolutely cannot control other people. We absolutely cannot control the weather. We cannot control things that happen around us. So the conversations with self are the most important, because those conversations for self is where you're going to encourage yourself. You're going to push yourself in a positive way. You're going to find your happiness. And when you're allowing yourself the freedom to make mistakes, because we do learn from our mistakes. Think about a child learning how to walk. Think about learning anything, learning how to ride a bicycle, learning a new computer program, learning a new job. Most of the time, those errors are how we really learn, because then once we've done it the incorrect way, and we've fallen and skinned our knee, or we've did something that caused money at work, we know for sure, don't do it that way again. So mistakes are not, they're actually a better learning tool for many of us, because again, in doing it the wrong way, we remember, don't do it that way. And we do it, we do things the right way the next time around. And of course, again, judgment comes from what our life experience has been, the family environment, the family dynamic, our friends, our home, our, not just our home, but our social life, church, school. There are different things where we all have had very, very, very different experiences that have molded us. And again, we're looking at the world, and we're looking at ourselves through our own experiences. So then once we're done judging ourselves, then we take those same lenses and we turn them on other people, and we judge other people. We look at others again. They're not living a lifestyle that I'm accustomed to. They're not making moves that I'm used to making. They are, again, it's not what I'm used to, because that is not the environment that I have been in. However, that may be the environment that they have been in. That may be all that they know. We talk about, we use, derogatory terms, to describe, certain people and certain people's actions. But again, if that is what they have been immersed in all of their lives, their friends are that way, their family is that way, the church is that way, the school is that way, the job is that way, then they are going to behave again in a manner that they are used to in the environment that they have come up in. So again, even, at my job, I always make sure that, I'm having a positive experience, because I come across different people from different walks of life, from A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way to Z, and sometimes some letters that I don't even know about, that haven't been created yet. So there are a lot of things that, again, someone will come in with an attitude. Obviously, I didn't cause that attitude, because they just walked up to me. So there's nothing that I did to cause them to be angry. So realizing in myself that I have not personally done anything to this person, but yet they are angry. But again, my environment has been, I'm happy. I'm happy. This person is not. We don't know why they're angry. I don't know why they're angry. I don't know. They could have lost the dog, the house, and the car all in the same day, and that's a load to bear. So rather than me feeding back into that negativity, I always keep a smile on my face. I always, have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your day. Everyone was talking about it being rainy and cold. Stay warm. Just do your best to stay warm and dry. Again, just with a smile on my face, because if they're coming in with a frown, with something going on their face, they're not having a good day. The same thing when I worked in police administration. People don't come to the police department because they're having a great, wonderful day. Like, oh, I'm having the best day of my life. Let me stop by the police department. I'm having the best day of my life. Let me go to court. So these are things that, again, to keep into perspective, as people were approaching my window, as people were calling me, as I was interacting with people, just keeping in mind that, whether you caused yourself to get the ticket, whether you caused yourself to be arrested, or whether you were there on behalf of a deceased loved one, again, it's not a happy situation. So again, just giving back, giving the positivity where there is normally negativity. And one thing that we, again, uh, must, again, to get to a place where we are happy within ourselves and we are content, is, again, just to release that judgment. Because again, if someone else is upset, then I'm not going to be upset with them. uh, as far as being angry, I'm not going to be angry with you because you're angry. Even if it's something that I did to you, me getting angry with you is not going to help the situation. What is going to help the situation is bringing you into my peace instead. And how do I bring you into my peace? By acknowledging you without judgment, without judging myself. Because then there's the other judgment of, being defensive. Well, I would never, or I would not, or that's not the type of person I am. Okay, that may be true, but still this person had a negative reaction to whatever you did, or whatever I did. And in that moment, that is their truth. That is their judgment of their situation. So again, releasing judgment, releasing judgment of self, um, and releasing judgment of others. Because, of course, in my calling and in my walk with helping others to find healing, to find peace, to find happiness, again, I come across lots and lots of different situations. And if I were to look at how someone is behaving currently without going into the why, I'm not going to be helpful. I'm going to fail at my purpose, my passion, my calling, because it is the why. Why are they this way? Why am I this way? That conversation for self. Why am I this way? Why do I behave the way that I do? Same again with others. Like, what's the purpose? Why do they behave that way? Why don't they see anything wrong with what they are doing? So it's in that judgment. It's that negative thought pattern, and again, the Bible, people are, it's like, oh, it's an old antiquated book, but again, judge not lest you be judged. And again, it goes both ways. It's a two-way street. Judgment is a two-way street. Again, judging yourself, judging others judging you. But one thing about judgment, for me, is that I don't take others' opinions of me, personally, because that's not, that what others think of me is none of my business. What others believe of me is none of my business. And if I were to internalize that, then I would come out of my peace. If I were to internalize that, then I would not be in my happiness. So I know, what makes me happy. And that is, that's what makes the difference. And being able to, once you're fully healed, you are able to hold on to your peace. You're able to hold on to your happiness. You're able to release judgment of others. You're able to release judgment of yourself. So when people come into your life and you're basing it on your experience, from your viewpoint, and it is, again, one of those things that we do as humans, to protect ourselves and to survive, really. But when we come across people, we have to let the meaning show up on its own without creating a meaning for it. Because again, what our judgment is going to be based on our experience. And again, based on our perspective, it may not be correct. So you ask, okay, so let me get this right. Is that an 18 or is that an 81? Because I'm seeing it from this perspective. But let's make sure that we are on the same page with, whether we have, is this a number 6 or is it, a 9? Which way are we looking at this? So again, it may be, from your perspective, it may be one thing, but from their perspective, it's a completely different thing. So in judgment, releasing judgment gives us the opportunity to open up dialogue, to open up the lines of constructive communication, and in asking questions and getting clarity, because as adults we should be able to have uncomfortable conversations without it dissolving into arguments. But in asking those questions of conversations for self and conversations with others after you have that conversation with self, then clarity and peace, happiness. You get to hold on to your peace, you get to hold on to your happiness. And that's where, that begins to be your just your midpoint is happiness, peace. Of course, we do, and I do bounce, up and down. However, I'm able to get back here much quicker, being whole, being healed, having those conversations with self, having those conversations with others, doing things differently than the way I learned them growing up. So this has been a longer video. However, there was a lot to pack in here, and hopefully you are unable to unpack it. And hopefully, prayerfully, it is helpful for you. Because as I always say at the end of my videos, it's self-love. Release that judgment. Self-love, self-love. Healing. Healing. Get out of the pain. Find your happiness. Self-love, self-healing, emotional healing. Again, find happy and hold on to it. The relationship with God. God will absolutely walk you through whatever you need to, and will bring the people and the resources into your life that you need for your moment. So again, self-love, emotional healing, this mental healing, relationship with God are all very, very, very necessary for a happy, peaceful, content, successful, brilliant, glorious, wonderful life.